We are thrilled that the inventor of Lego Serious Play is able to spend more time at the Luxembourg School of Business. Previously, we explored the next management framework with Dr. Johan Roos, and today we'll touch on human magic, mastering the capabilities that make you irreplaceable in the age of AI. So there is so much noise about AI at the moment. Tell me why we need your book. What's the different angle that your book brings?
I'm both excited and concerned about AI. I'm super excited about the possibilities, and we all have been at it, and I was starting a task force in the institution I was working with as Chief Academic Officer. 2 months after ChatGPT, we had a global task force welcoming, doing this, testing, learning, experimenting. Super excited, and I develop even AI voice agents for interviews and stuff. So I can see the potential. I'm also worried about this because not just because there's some research findings out there right now that everybody talk about, that you get brain rot or whatever they call it. I don't believe in that, but I'm a little bit worried that when we use it in ways that are not well thought through, we will suffer. We will suffer a little bit in terms of our brain muscle. We'll slow down a little bit if we don't practice it. And I'm also worried about less sort of independent thinking in people, not just in individuals, but in teams, and eventually you can scale it up. So what I'm trying to do in this book is a very hopeful thing. It's to basically say, if you have a choice. You have a choice that you can either use AI in a way that will erode your capabilities, your basic human capabilities, and we'll talk more about that, or you can use AI in a way that will amplify these capabilities for the benefit of you, your team, or whatever, and so forth. And I talk to working professionals, you can say. Professionals that both have AI anxiety, but also an AI enthusiasm.
Yeah. And we talk about the human qualities. So there's 5 C's that appear, I think, that will appear in your book. So creativity, curiosity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. Should we just step through those and see and explain a bit more?
We could step through them.
Okay.
we can step through, and we'll do that. But we can say why those, and what is it this is about. To me, this is really there are more C's than there are others, like character and courage and all that. But if you think of it, these are some very fundamental basic capabilities that have been discussed and catered to throughout the ages. Again, throughout the ages. And even the ancient Greeks talked about curiosity in the sense of perplexity. You need this perplexity. They talked about creativity as something you have to work through. It was not just eureka, it was applying it and so forth. And critical thinking is sort of also a way that you question things, you don't take it for granted. All of these are very, very fundamental skills that we partly teach. We teach them sometimes indirectly and sometimes directly with young people as well. But we all know today that some of these are, we take them for granted. It's not so easy to be good at critical thinking today, etc. So these are very fundamental things that I think has a lot to do with who we are as humans. That's why I call it's our human magic. And I'm concerned that we need to hold on to that much stronger now. So this book is about what can you do. It has very simple self-reflective exercises to remind you to not fall down the erosion path in the face of AI.
So you mentioned you didn't pick some C's there. I'm interested.
I did pick 2.
Character that you didn't. So other ones that you chose not to include. So tell me why that didn't make the cut.
No, I could easily add those, but to me, these 5 is sort of essential capabilities. Character for me is perhaps not a capability. Maybe courage is, and I will use the courage word in the book as well. But to me, these 5 are also what we typically teach students. Right? In university as well, in different ways. Some people call them soft skills. I don't like that at all. I think they're very human skills. I always use that term. And I think there are ways we can practice this much better now in the face of AI, which risk eroding our capabilities very fast.
And so you mentioned the book it sounds a bit like a workbook with exercises to guide you through.
Yeah.
Is that how it's structured?
It's structured in a sense that I start with an ancient narrative about, we will meet Cicero, we'll meet Pericles, we'll meet Socrates, we'll meet Aristotle, and so forth. So we'll meet these guys, and immediately when we meet them, afterward we'll say what they did and catered to. How does AI change that? And then there's going to be something about warning signs for erosions. And then there are way to amplify this, including some ideas for how you can have some protocols for this in yourself, your team. At the end of every chapter, there's going to be self-reflection exercise, questions for you. It's not judgmental, it's just to remind you, to help you, like, don't forget this. And you'll see it, some may be obvious, others are less obvious, and we tend to forget them.
So are there any that you'd like to pick out of the C's that you'd like to focus on and have a deep dive on? Or a deeper dive?
We'll have depends a little bit. I mean, we can talk about all of these things, but I think the point of the whole thing is that there's these 5 C's. There's also a P in there as well, right? There's also P. So think of these 5 as either, metaphorically speaking, you can think of them as 5 around something and something in the center, or you can think of them as interacting in a network and there's something above them. And the thing above them is what Thomas de Aquinas called practical wisdom when he translated the term phronesis from ancient Greek. And that is you can say, a meta capability that has to do with these things, which is about making the habit of making decisions and taking actions that are good, not just for you, me, myself, and I, but for the community you're part of, or the society you're part of. And I think that is an emergent property from these things interacting, if I speak a little bit theoretically.
Curiosity, creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration, all pulled together by the P.
Or could lead to this notion of practical wisdom.
Practical wisdom.
Which is all about experience and sort of doing the right thing. Doing the right thing in your different context.
And as you're explaining it, it feels a bit like it's less 5 silos. There's a lot more interconnectedness going through them.
And they partly, you'll see, of course, there's curiosity and creativity partly overlapping. But you can think of communication. Think of it this way. When you use AI, how does that influence your curiosity? You may not be aware of how it influences your curiosity, but you are risking outsourcing your curiosity to an algorithm. Right? If you not watch out carefully. If you ask, depending on how you prompt and how you follow up, creativity, you can use AI in a magnificent way to play with the creativity, and you can even urge the AI, or it's an LLM, but let's call it the AI, to be more creative and help you be more fantastic. But you can also be almost dependent on it. So you start to lose your touch, right?
And it can, because of the way the large language models work, it's going to give you something which is some tokens which have become from before. It's not giving you pure creativity of a thought that's never occurred before. It's reorganizing thoughts.
Over the last couple of weeks, I've observed, I'm not big on social media, but on LinkedIn, I've observed posts there now that I'm starting to recognize the language of. The same phraseology, the way the sentences are structured, that I can see it's clearly LLM written. And there's a particular lingo in it. You'll find out soon enough how it looks like. And that's to me like, oh, good. Has this passed through a brain? Or has it just been copied and pasted? And this is like very useful. It's very fast, makes ourselves very efficient. But there's to me, there's an early warning signal here. The most dangerous one, I think, is critical thinking. Because if we stop reflecting over what are the grounds, the fundamentals for making the claim that somebody's making, then we're in trouble. If we stop thinking about what are the underlying assumptions that will make that claim perfectly suited to, the ground you're making perfectly suiting to the claim you make. If we stop thinking about that, we're in trouble. So in the book, I'm using some of these techniques, such as Stephen Tolmin's old uses of argument model from 1958 or 60, I can't remember, which I've used for 20 years to dissect an argument. That is, in my view, a fantastic way of checking what you get out of AI without taking it just for granted. Anyway.
Yeah, this is super interesting. The book is, I think it's written, it's about to be published. What stage is it and when will it be available?
I have 5 out of 8 chapters done in good format. The other 3 is in okay format. I work really hard on this when I'm not traveling, and I have to kind of work October to fix it up, and then manuscript by November, and they will have it out by April, I think April, May. Routledge Professional Division.
And if people want to follow you and get more of your thoughts on this as they're waiting for the book, where should they?
I'm the only social media I'm on is LinkedIn, so you'll find me there as Johan Roos or Dr. Johan Roos. I can't remember now. You'll find me there as with a happy smile doing this when I'm doing a TEDx staging. You know, so that's it. And I will soon start to drop things about this. I haven't really gone out with it yet, so.
Okay, I think my connection request is in your pending at the moment.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll get you to accept, and then I'll get you in my feed, and that'll be coming through. Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming to LSB.
Okay. Thank you. Nice to be here.